G'day Tiger fans, Rich here, and I am thrilled today to be sitting in the Jack Dyer Stand with the great Neil Balme. Balme, good to see you.
Great to be here, mate.
You're looking well.
Ready to play, I think. We're a bit short of those tall forwards, so I reckon you and I are in.
Oh, mate, we could do with you out there at the moment, deep forward. Hey, Balme, before we get right into it, I'd just love to hear a highlight from you from your playing career. When you immediately think about that, what comes to mind?
Well, it's interesting because I've been even at this club for so long. It's it's hard to think of a better day than 2017 Grand Final and Premiership.
More so than your playing days?
Well, not really, but I always think about tomorrow rather than yesterday. So, the other years were wonderful as well, but that one particularly where I've only just come back and we'd sort of, not come from nowhere, but it was I felt the way the supporters saw it. They were just so happy with it. I still talk to them now. I said, we'll never forget 2017.
I'm actually with you on 2017. When I look at my time here at Richmond, it's probably the first thing that comes to mind. I've never been happier than that day.
Yes.
In football terms. What about the culture shift in that time? I mean, you were here from the early 70s right through your playing time, and then you came back, so you would have seen a lot of change in the culture around the place?
Thankfully. Although in our time, even when we're sitting in this grandstand and we think about the facilities and what we got and what we're going to do, we had no gym, for God's sake. My first day here, we went to the Oasis gym in town.
Yeah, wow.
And when we even look at this beautiful track now, this used to be controlled by the cricket club, and there were wickets in the middle. And there was one year, it was that bad that we couldn't train here. We trained out in an Oval 20.
There was no drainage at all, was there?
No, it was just, I reckon we didn't train it because I think some of us were either going to get buried or die. It was that bad. Not only the culture, but who we are has changed.
I'm just looking out now, Balme, and you look at the Swinburne Centre over here and how good it is, but it actually, it's probably 12, 13 years old now. You've got to continue to evolve. Let's just go back though. So when you first got here as a player, how did it look? How was the surroundings?
Oh, well, it was terrible, really, but we loved it.
Yeah.
But I was just talking to a couple of the old players, had to remind me of what it was. We didn't have a gym. We had a little social room. There was nothing here. Like there was the change rooms, terrible. And even then there was the boardroom, and then there was the GM's
That was
office.
all in this grandstand?
Yeah. Well, all under there on one level. There was nothing else.
Rocked up here at the end of 1992, and our gym was underneath here. Yes. But so were all the offices of the staff. Cameron Schwab was the CEO back then. Half of the staff were actually over in Jollymont Park in an old house that was in Jollymont Park.
Well, at least you had enough staff there. We had no staff, and that's not that long ago. But even now, we say we have to.
You've got to keep evolving, don't you?
Particularly with us, and we've got the women's team. It's all very well to say we've got the women's team, but because of the fact that it's men and women, they need virtually the same facilities as the men, and separately.
Now, I remember when I retired in end of 2009, I literally walked out on the ground and they were turning over the first sod for the new facility, and I went, oh geez. But if you look at that now, the Premiership came, 7 years after that. Finals came about 3 years after. I've got no doubt that the new facilities really helped to move us along.
Well, particularly, in my day we were part-time, so it wasn't even quite as bad. But when you're professional, full-time, you've got to give them something to do, give them somewhere to do it. You don't want them going to, boxing in Bridge Road and Oasis in the gym in town or whatever.
You want everything on site.
Yeah, you need to be able to fill in their day rather than taking too long. So it's very important, and that's why we need to look at it now, because, as wonderful as the Jack Dyer Stand is, it impacts our oval. We want the oval to be MCG size because it's better to train on. To do that, we really do have to shift this down, and we understand how important it is historically. So we will rebuild a Jack Dyer Stand, but it won't be this. But when you sit in, you realise, well, it's done its time. It does need to go. I reckon even Jack would agree with us. You've got to provide opportunities not just for our playing group, but all the other things we've got. We've got, Corin Gamaji, we've got all the other foundations. We've even got Aligned Leisure, and we're everywhere. And we probably need to find...
You need everyone here.
Yeah, well, it's better if you can.
What about our fans and our Richmond community? How important is this Punt Road location and the facilities for them to be able to come to Punt Road, watch training, you know, interact with the players? How important is that?
Well, I think we're blessed that we've been able to maintain it, because when you look where it is and what it is, it's amazing that we're here. You've got the MCG over the road, we're in the middle of the city virtually. I mean, there would have been a lot of times when we could have thought, well, maybe there's somewhere out in Waverley or somewhere when it was our place we should go. But I'm really pleased that either we couldn't or we didn't make that. We weren't famous for making great decisions for a while, but it is wonderful, and I think any of the supporters would say the same. I can't believe how lucky we are that we're still here.
I think it's crucially important, this location.
And it's Richmond. We're in the middle of the community. We're in the Richmond community.
Yeah, absolutely. Close to our community in Richmond. And just as a player, when you're sitting here training, you can see the MCG where you play. I remember when I first got here, I'm like, well, how good's this? You know, I just walk across to that ground where we play our games every Saturday.
Yeah, well, like Paul Kelly, I used to look at the Nilex clock.
I used to look at that when Robert Walsh was bagging me in the meetings from the GR room.
Well, we used to watch it when Tommy said, we're only going to train till 6 o'clock, and it'll be 6:16. I said, can't that bugger tell the time?
Yeah, no, I think we're in good shape moving forward, Balme. Thanks for a chat today.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you.